Before we start, I want to kindly thank anyone that's bought us a cuppa since the last video. It's always appreciated. It's time for another day out, this time to Norwich Castle, which was completed in 1121 by King Henry I. It started off as a royal palace and fortress. Then it was a prison for centuries, I'm sure some of us would have ended up there, and since 1894 has been a museum. It also had one of the largest moats in England. It's also one of the largest Norman keeps ever built over this side of the world. It's also, historically and culturally, one of the most spectacular 12th century non-church buildings in Europe. Now this video is from about 6 years ago, before it underwent a restoration that took about 6 years because it was held up by COVID and for some reason the war in Ukraine. I'm not sure how that links, but anyway, it's cost them 27.5 million to do something to it. Surely, with all that money and all that time, it's going to be even more spectacular. A grade 1 listed building, one of the most important buildings in our history. Surely they can't fuck it up. Me and Mrs. Harrison went to find out, but first we needed food, assuming there was some food left because the woman on the table to the left of us looks like she's already had it all herself. Even though the castle was built from flint, on the outside they stuck limestone which was imported. Why? Because it's a flex and made it look good. Now, because from 1544 to 1887, Norwich Castle was used as a prison, so the interiors were gutted, divided, floored over, and staircases were punched through walls, sadly, to make way for cells, courts and, of course, the gallows. We need to bring them back. And then the Victorians took it over before it became a museum. They ripped out the prison fittings and installed things that looked Norman. They added grand staircases, galleries and museum spaces. So it's never truly going to look like what it used to. However, we're here now. Let's see if modernity has done a better job than the Victorians. I think we already know the answer. First up is the galleries, full of lots of nice things that can't be tampered with, mainly because they're behind glass. And in the floor is a skeleton. Is it someone from the past? Or is it the architect who had the idea of redesigning the castle? There used to be a dungeon here. Well, there is still a dungeon. It's just not open to the public because of mould. Oh, everyone's so weak nowadays. Head certainly will roll. And here's an old well with a plastic anti-Semitic device placed on top. Over here is an exhibit about how Europe was built by hard work. And contrary to what many people are told now and actually believe, everyone in the pictures and the stained glass is white. Who'd have thought it? Of course, there's an exhibit about William of Norwich. He is very popular around here, and where else would you expect to find it, except in the castle? This used to be in a church before it was removed for obvious reasons. And underneath, of course, you can't help but have a ring from a Jewish person and some building material from Norwich's first synagogue. Synagogue that was burned down in 1286 under mysterious circumstances. Now, do I want to listen to a 2-minute speech about the burden of exile? No, I don't. You can't beat a good triptych. Now, unfortunately there's none of this stuff in the art gallery upstairs. It's all watercolours and it's all horrendous. Also, how do you tell the time? Well, you look at your phone or your watch. Boogaloo ready. Break glass in emergency. No, don't, you'll get nicked. And there's the original floor, covered in glass with lights right above it to make it even more visible. Okay. antiquarian collecting, something us Brits were the best at in the world, as evidenced by all the stuff we've got in our museums, and it's not going back. Here's a model of the castle grounds, which would be lovely if the lighting in here wasn't so fucking awful. And there's Mrs. St. Harrison making sure no one's been pushed down the well, or maybe she's pushed someone down there, I don't know, I'm not a grass. Anyway, it's time to go into the redesigned castle. I can't wait. So we go through this new redesigned door, which has already fallen off twice apparently, into the remodelled and apparently highly accurate main room. Ah, isn't it lovely with this B&Q flooring? Where's all the suits of armour? Where's the big dragon that used to be there? Ah, it's all gone, in place of some tables, some plastic food, and a wardrobe so people can dress up as kings and queens. Thankfully in the next room, we've got the chapel. Surely they can't mess that up. Well, no, they haven't, because they've left it alone and not covered it in garish paint. Look at the state of it. It looks like a public toilet, covered in curtains from B&M, with Toys R Us furniture. £27 million. Now around the top of the king's bedroom is a tapestry made by lots of nice old ladies, possibly the nicest new thing in here, but look at the rest of it, Jesus Christ. Why must everything be changed for the lowest common denominator? At least Mystery Ming and Kitten have come along to join us. And here's another hole in the corner covered with an anti-Semitic device and some pointless lights. Here's something they forgot to plaster over, some medieval graffiti that some old soldiers drew in the walls. Yes, they scratched in some swords. At least that's cool. Until they find it and then put some coloured lights over it probably. Like they did here. Where is the top of that beautiful archway? Let's go and find it. Ah, there it is. £27 million. Well spent. Wonder what we have through here. Oh good, it's a mezzanine level with more empty space. The people who built this castle, if they could see it now, I'm sure would have a few words to say. Now one fun part of it is you can walk through the passageway in between the walls, the bits they haven't sealed up with plaster of course. Now this is fun for two reasons. One, it's spooky, and secondly, you can't see any of the horrible modernity that they've done to the castle. Remember that stone spiral staircase from the start of the video? Well, who needs one of them when you can have a lovely staircase like this instead? Now they made a big thing about spending lots of money on the roof so you could look out across Norwich and through the battlements and through the little slits for the arrows. Now this will be exciting. Well, it would be if every gap wasn't covered in perspex. Oh dear, no one can be trusted nowadays. This place has literally been upgraded for retards. I'm surprised that's not a pride flag. Let's not give them ideas. Oh, this is good. A stone bench, very secure, that you can stand on to look over the side if you're a short ass or a kid. However, barely 2 minutes after we stood on it, we were told to get down because it's for sitting and not standing. And no, not because you might fall over the wall in front of you, but in case you might fall backwards into the castle. You couldn't make it up. After peering through the gap to see Hitler's favourite building in Norwich, it was time to get out of the castle and go to the museum and look at stuffed animals and teapots and crockery instead. Far more fun, and it hasn't been tampered with since about 1950 by the look of it. There's the jaw of the West Runton mammoth, more exciting than anything seen in the castle. Some skull comparisons as well. I'm saying nothing because I already know that you know what I'm going to say. There is a very large Norman Bates collection in the castle, if that's your kind of thing, and to be fair, Some of these animals are quite cool because I've never seen them either flying before or stuffed like this lot. And there's Ted Ellis out there killing some animals so he can stuff them and turn them into nice scenes like this. Ah, the good old days. There is a nice art gallery in there as well, not the watercolour one, avoid that. However, when you're watching it back and because of the lighting they use, it looks like you're having a stroke or an epileptic fit, so he won't stick around. They've even got some Turner as well, how nice. There's also a huge collection of fine china, mainly teapots, which is a lot more exciting than it sounds, and you can't help but wonder which one you would take home if the cases were left open or you had the money. But then it was almost time to go, only to find the mummies on the way out, and unfortunately for Mystery Ming, a mummified cat. It's just so wonderful seeing the visitors and the Norman Keep enjoying these spaces that we have recreated. Are they really enjoying it, or are you lying? Well, let's have a look on TripAdvisor to see just how much people are enjoying the 27.5 million 5-year-long rejig of the castle. The castle may now only be seen from the outside. Our beautiful atmospheric castle is gone internally, as are the dungeons, as is the Flying Dragon. Criminal. The museum within the castle was interesting but not worth the entire fee of £17. I would avoid your time and spend it at the cathedral or food market. Perhaps I was unlucky and picked a day when it seemed the entire castle was full of noisy school kids and self-entitled mummies with their precious but uninterested sprogs. Post-renovation, I was expecting great things, however it's now Disneyland, chaotic, confused and gives no idea of history. Thank God for the small display of medieval beauties from the British Museum. All around ancient walls are modern glass and wood walkways and extensions. The kids enjoyed it for a short while, but there was no sense of the castle or its history, and even then they were vexed by the many blocked up windows and closed off passages. Meanwhile, the older museum parts remain faded and remain in dire need of a refresh. The castle come keep is now more theme park than ancient monument. It is to castles what Blue Water shopping centre is to a high street. The look, feel and atmosphere are all lost. Surely this might be some kind of crime in a building with such history and provenance. The roof is like walking on top of a modern office building. I'm sure lots of skilled craftsmen went into it, but £28 million is absurd. It looks like walking into a Wickes kitchen showroom. Tacky renovation of the castle with cheap paint and awful displays. The cafe is hideous, at £17 entry is best avoided. The art gallery is wonderful, however. Agreed. It is awful, the good parts have been removed and covered and the place is dark and dingy, and to be honest could be any castle museum. The things that made it all special have been destroyed. How permission was granted for this, I will never know. To spend 27.5 million and take more than 7 years to wreck a castle is unforgivable. Don't let the building team near anywhere near another project. We quite agree. Anyway, that's enough for today. Until next time, ta-ta for now. If you enjoyed this video and thought it's slightly less shit than this castle renovation, you can always buy us a Cuppa on Ko-fi. The link is in the description below, and thank you in advance if you do.